Hey folks, Steve here with another 1918 Storm in the West video. We're going to be looking at turn 2 in this one, and I will just put a warning out that if you're watching this, maybe not too long after turn 1, I'm recording this footage while the turn 1 video is uploading to YouTube, so if you've left any comments on the turn 1 video with advice or guidance or thoughts, I have not seen those yet because that hasn't happened yet. The turn 1 video isn't up for you to comment on yet. So just so you know, if you're watching this after watching turn 1 and after commenting on turn 1, your advice will be duly noted and carried forward into future turns. But I'm still flying blind, baby, and figuring out what to do. So let's get right into turn 2. I'm going to try to pick up the pace a little bit. I realized the last video altogether was an hour and a half long. That's quite long. It's taking a really long time to upload to YouTube. I'm going to try to cut things down as much as I can. And knowing that, you know, after this first turn where we tried a lot of combats, it didn't work out great, maybe what I'll do is only show on camera the actual combats I've elected to fight and roll them and talk to him there, and not him and Ha as much. That might be able to splice the time down quite a bit. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. The first part of the turn is still the initial supply phase. We're going to do weather. Now on turn 2, the weather will be wet on a roll of a 5 or a 6. I rolled a 5, so it is a wet weather turn. Yeesh. Okay, well, that is interesting. That's going to have an impact for sure. It is wet. So, German supply determination. Well, yeah, we've got a supply problem here on this unit. He is out of supply up there in the north due to the Zocs of some reduced British units. Not good for them. Now we're going to have our replacement phase. So the Germans are going to gain 2 replacement points on top of their 24. So we go up to 26. And now we need to spend those replacement points. Now I was trying to figure this out. I think the best thing I can do is replace all the units that are already on the front lines as much as possible. That will save me some time and effort later. You know, rather than spending all my points on rebuilding units, it is more economical and expedient to bump up what units I can on the front lines now and then build other stuff. So we're going to flip this guy for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now I can't do anything for the out of supply guy, unfortunately, so 7 replacement points brings us down to 19. Then the question is, what do we do for rebuilt units? Well, as I mentioned in the other video, we have 11 units in the dead pile. We don't have enough replacement points to put everyone back on the map, and even for what we do put on the map, I mean, the reality is we're not going to be able to get them all where we need them to be. That is really the issue. So I think just out of the gate, what we're going to do is I think what we're going to do is we're going to fully rebuild 4 shock Stoßtruppen units, and then I think the best thing we can do, so that's going to be, yeah, 8 replacement points right there. Brings us down to 11. Yeesh. We're going to end up using these guys to do strategic movement. And I could rebuild more, or the trick's going to be getting them somewhere on the map where they can actually be of use. That's really the trick. So I'll spend 6 more, taking us down to 5 replacement points, and I'm going to put 3 corps back on the map, and they're going to go right here. Up there, and so what they'll do is, when we move, we'll move them into Liege, and then they'll be able to strategic move later. But yeah, there's definitely going to be yeah, that's tough. They'll move into Liege, and then they'll be able to strategic move forward up when we can. And I'll leave 5 replacement points there. I don't think there's much more that I can do. Yeah, I think that's just as good as it's going to have to get. So then we can do a strategic movement, and we get 4 units worth of strategic movement. Now, here's a big problem. If I look around, I don't have a huge number of places that I can actually put these guys. So what I'll need to do is I'm going to put 2 in St. Quentin, and then I'm going to put 2 in Lille. And then we're going to get right into the... So strategic movement's over, we're going to get right into the regular movement phase. And what I'm going to have these guys do is 1, 2, 3... Or I guess 1, 2, 3, 4. And move like so. So we're protecting Big Bertha down here. We kind of have to get in there to cover our butts a little bit, right? That's kind of what it feels like I have to do. And then up here, similarly, we have to do something. I'm going to have this unit move here, and this unit move here, so that we're effectively restoring supply where we were anyway before, and that will have to be what we do. And then these guys would move, I guess, 1 hex up. I need to double check how this guy moves. There might be an issue with it, but I think we're okay. Let's see. Oh, he can't... I see what's going on. He can't move into that because of the wet marsh. What we could do is move him down here, and that, I believe, is okay, and he's in range for a combat. But with the wet weather, this could prove to be kind of a pain. Let me double check. Weather 6.1. Let's see what else. All rivers are major rivers. Floodplains are marshes. Yeah. I guess our air is back, but may not matter a whole lot. Yeah, so geez, with everything being marsh, that's going to make things kind of difficult up here. There's going to be some -1s to the combat rolls, which is going to make things difficult, but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Okay, well, we're going to go into the first combat phase. And again, as I look around the map at like where it makes sense to try, I'm not sure there's a great many places that make sense. Maybe, oh, I guess maybe if I had moved this guy like so, that would work. Yeah, I think, okay, so down below here, I made one last movement adjustment, and I moved the unit sort of over a hex. So rather than being here, he's moved over here, and the idea being that we take a hit at these guys if we can. At least that's the idea, and I guess similarly, I could have moved this guy down 1. Okay, so there's a couple more moves I should make. And I'm allowing myself to make these because, again, I'm still feeling out this situation. So you can kind of see, like, there's definitely an opportunity for more breakthrough action here. You just have to make it happen. But we'll see, I guess, how that goes. All right, so we can get right into the combats. I think right away we'll say we're going to attack here. Now that one is 12 to 4, so that's 3 to 1. +1 because of the Stostrupa, and then -1 for the Allied trench. And so I believe that means it's just a straight die roll. I'm reasonably confident that that's the case. No concentric attack, nothing else that I can see. So, yeah. I just realized I found the British tank marker on my... I can't remember if I built this or not. Oh yeah, I guess okay, I know what's going on. All right, no worries, all good. Okay, so yeah, I think this is just a 3 to 1 straight up. I don't see any other modifiers that matter for this hex, so we'll go ahead and roll it. That's a 3, so 1 step loss, and then we take 2, and then we will advance after combat. And then similarly, we will do, I guess, an attack here. That's 11 to 3. That's 3 to 1. But then, because of the devastation, there's actually a -1. And let's see. Oof. So the Allied unit is lost, but we take some losses here, but whoops. There we go. Okay, so not great. And maybe I don't advance after combat and I just hold like that and put this guy out of supply, and he's locked up. But boy, that's a real, again, very difficult, really difficult situation for him to be in. I really wish I had rolled better there, so that we would at least have another step maybe to hold the line with. But I mean, so there's a breakthrough happening, but it's not like I can do much. That's the problem. Okay, let's see, what else can we do? I don't think I want to attack anywhere up here. I think we want to look at attacks up here. And then, let's see, 3, 9, 15, 5 to 1, 5 to 1 minus 1. I mean, this could be catastrophically bad. I think this is the battle where all the air is used up. Yeah, 5 to 1, but this is a straight die roll on this hex here. Alright, 5 to 1, 5. I mean, he's obliterated for sure. And the Germans take 2 step losses. And then let's see, final combat I'm even contemplating is here, and I'm not even sure I want to do that. Be 11, 26, because I'd be using the artillery. 26 to 9. Ugh, that's not quite good enough. So it'd be like 2 to 1 odds. 2 to 1 odds with a +1. That actually might be worth it. So, yeah. Oh gosh, so close. I probably should have doubled up on a hex somewhere, and that would have been way better. Like moving this guy down to here. So, but we didn't. So it's only 11 plus 15 is 26 to 9. Only, I think, 2 to 1 odds, and the way that the rounding goes, at least, I believe that's how it's going to work. Yeah, round down. So it'd be 2 to 1 odds. 2 to 1 odds is actually not bad in terms of what you're looking at. We'd have a +1 for a Stoss troop in attack, but we'd be going into rough terrain, so that negates each other. We get a +1 because of the artillery, and we have an opportunity to hurt the Austrian corps, which I think is what we'd really like to do. We could hurt it pretty bad, maybe. If I rolled a 6, that would be great. But I rolled a 5 plus 1 is 6, so not what I really wanted. So 2 step losses, 1. We could retreat. Yeah, I think we'll do that. So British lose a unit, they retreat. And the Germans each have to take a step. but they can advance. Well, that's something. All right, so let's do infiltration movement next. So what infiltration movement are we even willing to do? I think that's the tricky part. That's the tricky part that I think we're going to have to deal with. I'm just not sure. We can only move one hex, so I guess I could do this. And is there anything up here I can really do with our infiltration move? Most of these aren't really even great options. Yeah, boy, yeah, most of these infiltration moves, I mean, I just don't have anything that I really want to be able to do. Hmm. Okay, well, we're going to get into the second combat phase then. And what to do here. I mean, we've definitely got some options, I guess. The artillery is no longer really in range to be able to hit anything. So it really just comes down to where else do we want to attack and where do we think there's going to be value in doing that. There's certainly an attack against the Italians down here that we could knock out. Now we'd be hitting them. It would be 10 to 4, so that would be 2 to 1 odds. The problem is, what I'm realizing, like, anytime you attack somewhere, you're almost guaranteed to lose a unit. Or at least get really banged up. So if you're already banged up, what can you do? The reality is not a whole lot. If we did do that, it'd be 2 to 1 odds. We'd get a +1 for the Stoss. +2, really, because it'd be a concentric attack. But any roll is all but guaranteed to eliminate these guys. So I don't think I'm going to try that. Then it's really a question of, do I beat up on the British up here at all? And there's certainly some hexes where we could try it. Let's see, 11 to 4, that's only 2 to 1 odds. And it would be -1 due to devastated. I don't know if that's really worth it. Hmm. This is a tough call. 2 to 1 -1. Sure, we'll try it. And I got a 3, which isn't great. So we reduce this guy, which we could take by retreating, and they each take a step loss. Let's see, I would say maybe I do advance after combat there. And yeah, we're sort of set up for a concentric attack there later. I don't think we can afford to attack anywhere else, just because we're so beat up. I'm just not sure it's worth the try. We would end up losing units, and it's just too hard to get them back on the board. So I think we get to. Yeah, I think we just say, unless I want to come back and do this, this attack against the Italians, it's almost worth doing, and that's the problem that I'm struggling with. He's caught out. He'd probably be marked out of supply, and whether or not the Allies could actually do anything to save him is in question. 2 to 1 is all it would be. +1, +2. I mean, there's just simply no good result there that really helps us out. I mean, if we could get 3 to 1 odds, that'd be worth it, but we can't quite get there. So yeah, I think that's going to be it. I think that's all that the Germans can do. Terminal supply phase will come up, and their unit that was in the north there that had an out-of-supply marker is back in supply. So now we're going to just flip it right over to the Allies. Now, in terms of reinforcement schedule, the British are going to get 2, French 1, and the USA 0. So British 2, so they go up to 3. French get 1, so they're up to 10. And then, yeah, USA gets 0, but they are going to have 2 American divisions show up, and when it comes to the actual replacements, these 2 are at least going to be railed in for 2 of them. Now, what do the British want to do for replacements? Well, they can certainly flip this guy for 1. I can't fix the Portuguese, unfortunately. So they flipped that one for 1. They're going to rebuild their tanks, and then that's all they're going to do for now. They'll leave it with 1 replacement point left, and then the tanks will go here into Boulogne. Then, let's see, the French can build up a lot of stuff. So they'll spend 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, maybe what they'll do is spend 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The thing is, they don't want to spend too many replacements rebuilding crappy cavalry corps because they're just not as good a unit. And then Where these guys can actually show up, I guess, is the key thing. Okay. So out of our 6 allied rail moves for strategic movement, or I guess the strategic movement, not rail movement, we can get everybody where we think they need to be. So I think what we would do is, I think we've got a possibility of really banging things up. So what we're going to do, we're going to put the 3 French units into Soissons. We're going to put the American units in Compiègne. Right? So no matter how good the German offensives are right now, they're not getting very far, and we're filling the line back up pretty easily, I'd say, right now, as the Allies. So replacements and reinforcements are done, and we have regular movement. So what movement do we feel like we really need to do here? Well, I think, I should probably have marked the Italians as out of supply. So that's the one thing. But what we're going to do, I think, is have these guys move here, these guys move here, and then the Americans will move, let's see, it would be, those rivers are going to be a problem. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's as far as the Americans can go. They moved up a little bit. They're kind of weaker units now that I'm looking at them. Maybe I shouldn't send them right there, but the Germans are kind of beaten up here. I don't think there's much more they can really do. Okay. And as I'm fighting through these losses, I'm wondering if maybe it's not better to lose whole units instead of taking little losses everywhere, but I'm not sure about that. Okay, so that movement's done. If I look up in the north, what I probably want to do is get this guy, let's see, what, Marsh, all this is Marsh right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. This guy can go basically, say 1, 2, 3. I'm not even sure I can take a tank into here. I can't attack into a marsh. So maybe I just leave the tanks there because they can't really go anywhere else. Maybe that's what I need to do. I don't know. Weather's goofy. Okay, so combat now comes up. So where do the French want to try for combat? Well, I think, again, everything over here, I mean, there's just not enough for us to really, really try to make anything happen. We just don't have enough forces to try it. So I think what we'll do is we'll focus here, and we'll probably have an attack here. So this would be 4, 5, 11, 15 to 5 is 3 to 1. Tanks are involved, so that's a +1. So 3 to 1 plus 1. Anything will eliminate that unit. So I got a 3, so 3 to 1. So they do eliminate the German unit. They have to take 2 step losses. One is lost on the tank, and then we'll take a loss on these guys and we'll retake the hex here. Bam. Let's see, where else? Where else can we go? I think there is some difficulty in figuring out where we can attack. We could maybe attack here, so we would have 8, 11, 14 to 5. That's unfortunately, that would just be 2 to 1 odds. Into Marsh would be -1. And the British don't have a lot of replacements. But we would still reduce their ability to attack into Belhume. So that seems like a worthwhile attempt. Could also try to take Ypres back. And we probably have the capability to do that. 8, 9, 10... 2 to 1 odds, -2. Okay, so yeah, we will do that. We'll we're gonna attack up here. It's 2 to 1 odds, -2. Oh shit. Well, all right. Not good. So we were going to take Ypres back, but it's a -2 because of the marsh and because of the town. And I rolled a 1, which doesn't get much worse than this. So the defenders lose nothing. The British have to lose 3 steps. So we get rid of this. All right, 1 step for the cavalry. We'll lose the Portuguese. That's fine. And then we'll take a step loss here. The Portuguese are out of the game. Sorry, I picked up the wrong counter here. The British cavalry are out for now. That's not good. All right. So then, knowing we just lost that, do we try to take this hex here? Well, we would have 8, 11, 14. Still would be 2 to 1 odds. -1. So surely surely you would think I would not roll low again, right? Is there a reason to counterattack yet? Well, I have plenty of Americans coming, so the more I blunt the Germans now, the better, right? All right, 2 to 1, -1. All right, so they got a 3. So 1 eliminates the unit, and they have to take 2 step losses, and we'll take them here and here. And we'll keep the Australians safe. And then, do we want to advance after combat? No, I don't think we want to advance after combat because we're just going to end up getting them crushed, maybe. So maybe we stay where we're at. Yeah, that might be the best thing. We just stay where we're at. Okay. Infiltration movement, well, there is none. Are there any attacks we'd like to launch on the second Allied attack? We could go here, and that would be 8, 16, 16 to 5, 3 to 1, 3 to 1, -2 because of the German trench. Three to 1 minus 2. Well, we'd break open the line quite a bit if we did it. And again, we'd have better capability of clearing the Big Bertha hex. So I feel like this is worth it. 16 to 5. Yeah, 3 to 1. But minus 2. Alright, well, I made it roll a 1. But 3 to 1 with a 3 minus 2 is 1. A 1 on a 3 to 1 is still 1 loss to the defender. 3 losses otherwise. So 1, 2. We'll just eliminate that guy right there. And then we'll do 3. And we'll advance. And this whole center is just not going well for the Germans. I mean, we were thinking we were going to do well here, but it feels like we're falling apart, is what is really happening. If we lose St. Quentin, then we're going to lose our rail stop, which is going to be a big deal. Yeah, dang. This is getting sketchy. Okay, other combats that we would maybe want to run. 9 to 5 would be 1 to 1. A minus 2. Yeah, you'd probably get chewed up. 7, maybe 1 to 1. Minus 1. There's an attack here that actually makes sense. So it'd be 1 to 1, but we would have a minus 1 due to the devastation. So we could actually end up losing a lot of forces here. I don't know. Maybe we hold off. We hold off there. There is an attack up there we could try. It would be 7, 10. 7 to 10. Or I'm sorry, 10 to 5, which is 2 to 1, minus 1. Then we put our Australians at risk. I don't know. This is tough. Nah, I think we hold off. Yeah, I think we hold off. Because here's the thing. If we sacrifice... If I roll a 1 and we roll where, like, the Germans take nothing and the British take 3 more hits, I mean, that's 3 more hits that they can't sustain long term. And then the Germans have the ability to continue to push forward and rock and roll. So I think the Allies are just going to call it quits there. And their out-of-supply marker goes away for the Italians. The Italians are back being okay. And that's the end of the turn. That's the end of turn 2 already. So, yeah, we're going to go to turn 3. I did forget to roll for Big Bertha. So we'll roll for Big Bertha. And we don't knock out a morale point. Okay, so the end of turn 2. So what has happened this turn so far? Well, I mean, the Germans are trying to expand their breakthrough past the Allied lines. The weather has slowed them down quite a bit. They have the ability or the potential here to wear the British out, but I think the real trick is going to be ensuring that whatever momentum they have, they can keep going. They still haven't met their morale gain requirement. This whole center is just going badly. It is not going well at all. So it's really tough to figure out, like, you got to pick your spot that you're going to try to advance in. But then I rolled bad weather, so the area I wanted to focus in is getting slowed down quite a bit. That could change here in the next turn. It could clear up a little bit. But then it's a real question of, well, how are we going to continue to make any progress? I think that's the real trick here is, like, you only have so many replacement points. You make combats too big, you take too many losses, you can't replenish it. But you got to keep moving. And I think somebody suggested in the comment for the other video that, like, okay, if you got flipped units, hold off. If you've got full strength units, attack there or something. And I am kind of seeing why, like, it's really hard to figure out where to go next, where the lines are just kind of falling apart. Because even here, where, like, the British still have decent strength units that aren't beat up, if they attack and they chip away the Germans a little bit, but they lose a bunch of stuff, well, then the Germans on their next turn are going to spend their replacement points, get units back on the board nearby here, and then push through where the Allies are weakest and take Arras, and then continue to push towards the coast potentially. Like, that kind of stuff could happen or will happen. And there's really no good, like, I don't know, like, how do you get around some of this? So the game right now feels tight. I just don't know if I'm making good gameplay decisions right now. It's very, like, I don't know, it's just very tough to figure out what else I could be doing. Better for the Germans. As the Allies, I guess I'm kind of doing all right. Like, I'm throwing the tanks in, and I'm disrupting what the Germans are doing, and I'm hoping that over time we're going to be able to outlast them. And the funny thing is, like, it's the British who are taking the most hits. They're really low on replacement points. Comparatively, the French are doing mostly okay. They've used some of their replacement points, but they've got a lot more. They can use this as their little wedge to get up and around. So the French actually, I mean, the British are taking all the hits, but the French have an opportunity to kind of to make something happen here because they've now opened this up, and there's really nothing that's going to stop. I mean, it's like the Germans have to decide: are they going to stop this, or are they going to continue to try to make something happen up here? Either way, any way you want to look at it, there's pressure across the board. And the only thing they've got going for them, I guess, is that, they can look at pushing the British beyond the point of recovery. Now, the British are going to get some pretty good replacement allotments over the next couple of turns. They're going to get quite a bit, actually. So, I mean, we could bring the British to the brink. They might be able to come back enough. So, yeah, I don't know. This is tough. It's interesting. How far can we go? But I think that's it for this one, guys. That's the end of this turn. We will look to do turn 3 in the next video. So, thanks for watching. If you like this video, hit like. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. And we'll see you next time. Take care, guys. Keep on gaming.